Welcome to the Bob and Tam Show. Ba-ding! People keep saying they want to see that and hear that.
I don't know why.
I think it's her reaction. So today, what are we going to talk about? The top 10 things that you must do in Sturgis. So if you're only going to be there maybe 4 days or even 5 days, these are some events you need to do. Even if you're coming the week before, as long as you're getting there, a lot of these things will still already be going at full steam during the rally. So we already kind of did some videos that we already talked about some of these. We're just going to go back and recap some of the first ones that we did, and then we'll tell you a little bit quick snippets on the rest of them, because the videos are getting way too long and dragging out too long, and we're getting ready to go to Sturgis.
Yes, we are.
Some of you might even be about a month away from going if you're getting there early. So we'll be actually next week, actually after the 4th of July, we'll be 1 month out from the rally. The official day of starting, which is August 6th. So here we go. We're going to start off at number 10. We talked about Needles Highway. If you're going to do something, you got to do that. That made our top 10. You know, we might say, some people say, hey, I really like Needles Highway. Well, you know, for us, it took us a couple times of going to Sturgis before we actually figured out where Needles Highway was at, because Needles and a whole lot of other things are all kind of right there together. But out of all, I really like Needles Highway. It's a fun ride, but there's no lines on the highway, so you got to be really careful and take care and make sure nobody runs you over and make sure you don't drive off the road. So number 9 is
Main Street. Don't forget to go down to Main Street. That's what Sturgis is famous for. And they call it the Sturgis Rally, but there's a whole lot more that's more entailed than just Sturgis. But you do have to go to downtown Sturgis, feel that vibe, see all the bars, see all the bikes, see all the people, and experience that time while you're in Sturgis.
Also, what's the video that we had yesterday? Breaking news. What was that?
Going to have open containers, but you have to have their cup and a bracelet and only beer and wine.
And watch that video. I'll put a link up here, and you need to check that out to find out what the rules are on that. Just not every container will work. You know, the next thing we also did for top 8 was Deadwood. You got to go down there and spend a little time in Deadwood. Actually, when we get there this year for the 3-wheel rally, we're going to be there for the whole first week, checking it all out. There's a casino down there. You can do some gambling. There's actually Wild Bill's Bar, which we did a video on last year. We'll be in there again this year. That's actually where Wild Bill Hickok was actually shot at. Not across the street at Saloon 10, because that's an imitation. We can say something about that chair they have, but we won't.
But Deadwood's got a lot of history of the area, and it's a cool place to go. If you like the Old West, a lot of history there. And
if you like Full Throttle, they actually have a distillery there that you can go in and you can buy their liquor. They got a little display. I don't think they're actually doing anything there, but they might be. But go back there. They got it all behind the glass. But, I mean, we didn't even know that Michael Ballard had that there. No. We actually had to go back out and see it because we missed it. So number 7 is?
Full Throttle. That's what got us to go to Sturgis in the first place years ago.
Also, there was 2 parts. We also talked about the Buffalo Chip, because those are 2 of the iconic bars that probably, you know, they got their own campgrounds and all that. So they're kind of a little different from what the bars are that are downtown. And, you know, there's bars all over the Black Hills.
There are.
So there's some really neat ones to check out. Number 6 is you've got to go to Black Hills HarleyDavidson. Over there in Rapid City. It's right off the highway.
Can't miss it.
They've got the most
Gigantic.
vendors. And if you're getting there the week before, they're usually up and going, and you know, all the big people are there. That's really the best time to get your bike worked on, at the dealership or at one of those vendors, because they're not so busy.
And if you're there the week before, you get some good deals on clothes.
Yep.
Just FYI.
Yep. So we'll tell you a little bit about that. So the next thing we have, which is number 5, is kind of like an in-between thing, but it's great riding there in the Black Hills.
Yeah, it is. If you go to some of all the little bitty cities that are all out there, they all have things going on. They all have great restaurants and bars, and it's just really neat. Just the history of that area. Each little city has its own unique history and its own unique vibe, and it's really neat. While you're going out doing some of these other things, you're going to be going through some of these little towns. So take a minute, stop by, and check them out.
You know, it's great going through Hill City, Keystone, Lead, and even Custer. Custer's a little bit farther down there, but if you're going down to Custer State Park, you can kind of swing by there and pick that up. But all those little towns are just like stepping back into the Old West. They've got some great places to eat. They got all kinds of neat stuff, so that's something you need to check out. Number 4, this is one we did the very first year we went out there. We went out and did Mount Rushmore and Crazy Horse. After that, we don't pay the money to get in there anymore because there's really not a whole lot that you can't see from the road in the pictures. You know, when you're coming up to Mount Rushmore, you can see it right there from the road. You pull off to the right. It's easy when you're on a motorcycle. You can pull over there. You can get the great shots. It's just as good as the shots you have in there. You know, if you want to pay, they do give some discounts during the rally week. The week before, they don't always give the discounts to getting in. And then Crazy Horse.
$10 to park, but I think it's free to get in.
Yeah, it's free to get in, but it costs to park. So the other one is Crazy Horse. Crazy Horse charges a little bit more. That's actually put on, I think it's a reservation. I think it might be that the Native Americans, the Indians there are actually running that. Not quite sure, but it's a little more expensive to get there. They've got a little bit more museums and things like that to see. But I mean, when you're at the rally, you know, if you want to do something like that, do it. For us, it's a lot easier to stand across the road. There's a nice gravel road on the other side there. You can get some great shots of Crazy Horse. So that's really neat. That's our number 4. Number 3?
Custer State Park and see the bison. But you have to do this early in the morning because that's when the bison are out and they feed them. We found this out from a park ranger. So if you get there at 9-ish, a little before, a little after, not too late, you can usually see most of the herd there.
Out of the times we've been down there, twice, the very first 2 times we've been there after we talked to the ranger, we actually sat on our motorcycle as the herd was moving through us. So it was priceless. Last year we got to see a little bit of the herd moving, but they ended up being down by, there's a ranger station there, there's some bathrooms and stuff, and a lot of time the herd kind of sits around there because that hill behind them is where they put some food out there for them and you can see the herds moving. Once, the first time we seen both herds come together and it was just spectacular. Got a lot of pictures, we weren't doing video at that time. The second time we went, we only seen the one herd moving. But I mean, to ride next to them or sit next to them, and you got to remember, these are not your pets. They're not a cow.
They're not a domestic
They
animal.
are wild animals. If anybody watched the video from last year, which wasn't us, caught that lady that lost her pants, that's what happens when you, luckily she didn't get killed
She
from
didn't
this.
get hurt, yes.
People, Yellowstone, somebody last year actually got gored by one. That you got to watch in August, it gets to be mating season. We've seen them charge cars, motorcycles, and everything else. So you have to be very cautious. The idea is, don't make any jerky sounds. Movements, sounds, things that might scare them. Don't rev your motorcycle up when you're there. You know, let them, they will go across the road. Be patient with them.
They're used to people. That's not saying that they want you there.
That's
so
right.
just admire them, go be in awe, and
I've been yelled at quite a few times by the rangers because I'm out there taking pictures. Because it's like any other kind of wild animal. If you've ever done any hunting or anything like that or been out in the woods, you know, you can move slowly, never turn your back on them. Don't stay away from the babies. Don't attempt to try to get so close you can pet them. I've had them walk right by me, no issues, but you've got to not be a threat to them for them to attack. But also during the mating season, you just don't want to mess with them because the males ain't quite thinking right. So we'll leave it at that. But Custer's a great
any
park.
typical male.
It's pretty much a day's ride. By the time you get down to Custer, you get in there around 9 o'clock, but you want to get there before 9 because you want to be down there by the ranger station. Just past the ranger station, you make a left up that road. Used to be a dead-end road, now it goes completely across. Stay on the top of that hill, and you'll usually see the herd moving towards you.
But there is a lot of chat on those roads back there, so be careful if you're on your bikes.
Yep. So if you're scared of driving on chat, now the main road that goes around Custer is a asphalt road, no issues. But some of the roads that cut across is gravel. We've never dropped our bike. We're used to riding on gravel. But if you are afraid, stay on the main road, and you can still see the good view, but you may not get them as close as you would if you were letting them pass through you. So that is a priceless thing, and that's where it made number 3 for us. Number 2 is Spearfish Canyon. You know, it took us, actually was till last year before we finally found all 3 waterfalls. And you do want to stop and see those because that's part of the ride of going down there. You know, the first one's very easy to see. It's right there on the left. It's right off the side of the road. It's usually very crowded. You know, you can kind of see that, pull your bike over, take a quick look, and get back on. The other 2, which you'll have to watch the video that we did last year, or you'll have to see the one we do this year to find out where the other 2 are at. They're just, one of them you actually can pretty much pull up to it with your motorcycle. Same thing, it's down, I think it's a little bit of a rock road there, but it's not too bad. And you can park there and it's not even, 100 feet off the road. The other one is about 3/4 of a mile down because some moron took the bridge over, which is last year's video will explain that, and maybe I'll talk a little bit about that again this year. And
We'll see if he opened it up.
yeah. We had said a few of you should stop by and say hi to them. And so that's another great one, Spearfish Canyon. Go all the way down. What's the place at the very end, that bar down at the end?
Cheyenne Crossing.
Yeah, you can go all the way down there, and actually if you make a left there, that'll take you in the lead. And there's actually, when you're going in the lead, if you look right to the right before you get to the sign that says welcome to lead, there's another small waterfall right there. We stumbled over. Really neat. That's kind of, somebody said it's just a runoff from something, but I mean, it's still a waterfall no matter what. So that's number two. Number two. Our number one, and it's my favorite ride in Sturgis.
Iron Mountain Road.
I love Iron Mountain Road. Couple of great reasons. One, it's probably one of the twistiest roads that I've ever rode on. A lot of people compare it to say it's not the same as a lot of other ones. It's great if you can get out there when there's not so many people, and that's usually way before the rally or after the rally. On this, we've also got some live feeds coming up this Sunday at 3 p.m. Pacific time. We will be going live with some more information on Sturgis and any questions you guys might have for us about the rallies that's coming up. And at that, we're going to leave you right here because I already probably went way too long. See if I can edit this down.
So thanks for coming along today. Hope you can make the top 10 if you're going out there. Even if you're going out for a couple days, try to make as much as you can. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Think about Patreon. Share us with your family and friends. Give us a big thumbs up. Ring that bell for notifications, and we'll see you on the next video.